what ultimately happened in Kosovo was something that was quite arguably simply a crime that was waiting to happen, but that was delayed. The reason for its delay being that the international community was not prepared to tolerate, and made it clear in warnings to this accused that it was not prepared to tolerate an extension of the fighting to that area.
Po dignitetin shqiptar kishte thyrja dignitetit dhe poshtnimi I popullatës shqiptare në Kosovë ka filluar prej vitit 1987. Ti përmendim vetëm përciptazi, ndryshimet kushtetuese, izolimi I 300 intelektualve, heqja ose pamundësia për të hyrë në objektet shkollore, represioni sistematik dhe hyrja e policisë në çdo shtëpi, mos realizimi I marrëveshjes së arsimit, degenerimi I procesit politik në Kosovë, ikja e 500.000 shqiptarëve jashtë Kosovës deri në vitin 1997 për shkak të pamundësisë të punësimit.
One of the most egregious violations occurred in the Drenica Valley in February and March 98. The most notorious incident was the attack on the Yashari compound in the village of Prekaz, in which more than 50 people lost their lives. The entire Yashari family, save for the 11-year-old girl named Besart.
Pas masakrës së Prekazit dhe Likoshanit, është ngrit një revolt në Kosovë ku secili ka dashur shpëtimin ta kërkojnë në mal. Dhe ju kanë bashkangjit grupit që ka qenë I armatosur edhe ka qenë grupi me emrin UÇK.
Gjendja përgjithshme në muajin gusht shtatore ishte veprimet ishin luftimet intensive në territoret kontrolluar nga të cilët ishin të kontrolluar nga UÇK-ja, të cilët në atë kohë forcat serbe kishin marrë ofanzivë të madhe në territoret, si në Dugagjin, ashtu në Drenicë edhe në zonat tjera, ku luftimet ishin të zhvilluar në të territoret të mjaftë të ashpra.
Well, it was very extensive. I think I counted that day some 16 villages on fire. All these villages were aflame, subject to bombardment, and had been put to the flame. And they said that they had been moved out of the other villages, that they'd been given a deadline to go, that if they were told if they did not go, they would be subject to bombardment. They described the routine to be that the bombardment, the threats came first, then the bombardment. After the bombardment, the Serb forces move in and first looted the houses, after which parties of soldiers, as they described them, came in and put the houses to fire.
We used, I should say, straightforward language and told Mr. Milosevic that within 48 hours NATO could bomb the former Yugoslav Republic unless we saw a tangible and verifiable reduction of the deployment of additional forces to Kosovo and an end of hostilities.
We had achieved agreement, and then it remained to type up the agreement and get it signed, and President Milosevic was musing philosophically about this. And he turned to me and he said, General Clark, he said, we know how to handle these murderers, these rapists, these criminals. He said, we've done this before. I said, well, when? He said, in Drenica in 1946. And I said, what did you do? He said, we killed them. He said, we killed them all.
In most cases, the incidents were not triggered by the Yugoslav side. They were triggered by the Albanian side or the Kosovar side, who tried to take advantage of the vacuum left by the Serb side, who had withdrawn in accordance with the agreement. And the Serb side reacted to that, I think, in a way which the reaction as such was understandable to us. What was not understandable to us was from time to time the way in which they reacted. So we were suddenly again in a spiral of force and counter-force which was mutually reinforcing and led to escalation.
From what I could see, they had been shot at close range, mostly in the head, the back or the front, and the men were they were all men, first of all, and they did not look like men of what I would consider fighting age. Looked like several elderly people, mostly villagers, some wearing the typical Albanian caps there.
Dhe zonja Allbright ishte brëngosur për procesin e negociatave dhe na tha shumë hapur pa diplomaci se nëse ju shqiptarët, pra kosovarët, nuk e pranoni marrëveshjen, ne do t'ju izolojmë dhe nuk do të merremi me ju. Ndërsa palës serbi tha shumë qartë, nëse ju nuk e pranoni marrëveshjen, do të keni bombë.
Well, our message was, as the negotiators, to impress upon President Milosevic that the time is running out, that we need now a positive re-engagement on their side. It was very clear that the alternative to the Rambouillet Accords was a military intervention on the part of the international community. For me, it was actually quite depressing, because I immediately realized that there was no real interest in identifying a way out of this situation. My impression in the course of these talks was that he had already made up his mind, basically, and was not really listening.
Ako dođe do bombardovanja od strane NATO pakta, ako dođe do američke agresije, mi Srbi ćemo prilično stradati, ali Albanaca na Kosovu neće biti.